Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So as you can see from the title, this is going to be the first of what is, I believe, 4 Halloween looks this October. I wanted to do kind of a redo of the Glampire look I did last year, but it was very like literal with glitter and grungy, but I really wanted to be a little more specific with it. So I will be throwing up an inspiration pic. This is based on the makeup used for the character of Lestat in Queen of the Damned circa 2002. Is literally like the end-all be-all in grungy, angsty vampire films. I absolutely love it. It is up there with like Lost Boys and Interview with a Vampire for me. So if that's something you're into, make sure to keep on watching, and please don't forget to subscribe because I do upload twice a week, and that is the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So starting out with what I'm going to call a giant 1999 brow. It's actually like a 2002 brow, but I'm going to be taking Spiked from MAC, which is a little darker than my normal brow shade, and I'm just going to kind of bushy thicken it up, especially in the front. Then I'm just going to set, oh, wrong side. Then I'm just going to set those in place, but rather than setting them down, I'm actually going to kind of make them a little bit disheveled, because again, we do want this to look not completely put together. So the eyes and face are already primed, and we are going to be starting with the eyes today. I'm actually going to be skipping a traditional transition shade because we're going to be going a lot a bit grungy. So I'm going to be taking the Blood Sugar palette because it has the perfect tones for what I'm looking to do. I am going to throw up a picture of the inspiration look right now. Beautiful. So I'm going to start with the shade Intravenous right down here. And I'm going to build this up immediately on the outer portion of the eye. Then on a fluffy brush with a little bit of Cherry Soda, which is the True Red, I'm just going to blend out some of those lines. Then taking Extraction, the berry tone shade down here, I'm just going to build this up on the outer portion of the eye and into the lid. Then on the tip of the brush, going back into Intravenous up here, we're just going to further deepen the crease. Then dipping into Tongue Pop right here, I'm just going to once again blend out the edges. Now for the lid, I'm going to take Fresh Meat, which is genuinely like the crimson blood red of the palette, and I'm going to build that up on the actual mobile lid. Once again, we're just going to blend out those edges. I'm going to go back into Intravenous one last time, just to really deepen up the outer portion of the eye. Now we don't want this to be a shimmery lid, but we do want a little bit of a highlight on it. So I'm going to take Blood Sugar, which is a semi-foiled red. It's definitely like not a matte shade, but it's going to add just enough shimmer, not so that the eye looks shiny, but so that there's just a little bit more depth. Then dipping into a very pointy brush with no product, I'm just going to blend out the crease. Now normally I would say this is the part where we're going to clean up the eyes, but we definitely do want it to stay a little more blown out. So I did prep the skin already, and I'm going to go in with foundation. This is the Makeup Forever stick in R330, which I love this formula. It's just a tad light for me lately, which is perfect for a Halloween look. Now I definitely went in with a lot with that, but I definitely want this to be super full coverage and super pale. So I'm going to skip concealer today because I kind of want the under eye to look a little on the grungy side, and instead I'm going to go right into my translucent powder. So taking my Laura Mercier setting powder, I'm literally just going to set down the entire face. This is the one point in the year where if you go overboard on powder, it's okay, because flashback is actually desirable with this look. Next up for contour, dipping into what has become a Halloween staple for me. This is the Makeup Revolution Ghost Sculpt palette, or duo, I guess. I'm gonna be using the Black Sculpt shade. I am gonna be taking that on a fairly fluffy brush because I do want to contour with it, but I don't want this to get super muddy. So we're just going to lightly contour the face with this black shade. This is just going to cast a soft gray shadow. If you go overboard with it, you will end up with a black stripe on your face, but if you take it up gently, it will just give you a natural cool toned contour. Then I'm going to take a tiny bit of that same shade and just take some down the bridge of the nose. And I'm going to take a touch of that under the bottom lip just to make it a little bit more supple. So now that we are looking semi-contoured and pasty as hell, I'm going to go into the Ghost shade, and I'm going to take this to brighten up the under eye. So just to tie the under eye together, I'm going to go right into a liner first. What am I doing? I'm going to grab a black liner and throw it in the waterline. And then dipping into Intravenous again, I'm actually just going to blend those lines. Then I'm going to take a little bit of Glucose, the matte white, and I'm just going to further brighten up the under eye very close to the lower lash line, because we do want quite a stark contrast between the lower lash line and the skin. Then going back into that fluffy pointy brush with a little bit more of fresh meat, I'm going to smoke out a little bit more. Then just like before, taking a little bit more Glucose, we're just going to brighten up under the red. Now, the key to this look that I have been obsessed with forever is the foiled gold highlight, and for that, I'm actually going to start by taking Donor, the foiled gold shade in the palette, and putting that on the inner corner. Then to amp it up further, I'm going to go into the Gold Bar from Wet n Wild, and I'm going to add this highlighter over that foiled gold shadow. And the last thing I'm going to do just to kick it up even more is I'm going to go into the Makeup Forever Starlit Powder. This is in the shade 13. And I'm going to even further intensify the inner corner. So taking a tiny amount of that Starlit powder, I'm actually going to take that to highlight the face as well. This can go really overboard really quickly, so I'm really just taking whatever is dusted into the cap, and that's all I'm taking, because we don't want a super foiled highlighted skin, but we do want just a subtle glow. Now, the staple for this look, above and beyond everything else, is the fact that there really is no lip color. It's very just glossy and light. So I'm going to keep whatever foundation is currently on my lips there, and I'm going to take the Dior Lip Glow Color Balm Revival. This is in the shade Raspberry, and I'm going to use this just to add some color to the lips. Then going into that shadow brush from before, I'm just going to diffuse some of the edges under the lip, just so that it doesn't look quite so precise. We definitely want this to look a little bit on the grungy side. And the last thing I'm going to do is take a little bit of Sweetener right here, the foiled shade, and I'm just going to tap it just lightly into the center of the eye. He definitely didn't have a huge foiled shadow, but there was a tiny amount of halo to the eye, just so that when it catches the light, you get a little bit of extra sheen. Also, his lashes are not super noticeable, which means that we are absolutely skipping mascara today. I'm gonna go throw my fangs in and I'll be right back. And that's the finished look, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye.